In 3.25, we are getting some huge updates to Bestiary. In fact, the biggest change that we are getting is something that was number one on the list of changes I hoped Bestiary is going to get. So here's the change I'm talking about. Some of the beasts from Einhar's memory of Harvest Beast have been added to the core pool of Bestiary monsters. You also now have a chance to encounter Black Morrigan. That was always my biggest issue with Bestiary, that there's a ton of different beasts, but pretty much the only one that was worth anything is Craggy Chimeral. Sure, there are a few other ones like Split Beast, Fire Tiger Alpha, Wolf and Lynx Alpha, but most of the time they drop down in price heavily after the league start, and the only one that people care about is Craggy Chimeral. On the other hand, in Bestiary Memories you can find 9 exclusive beasts to these memories, and I would say 7 out of 9 are very profitable. So it always made sense to me that Harvest Beasts should be part of regular Bestiary, which should just be very rare, just so we have more actual good beasts to hunt for. Unfortunately, there are still things that we don't know. First of all, patch notes says that only some of the Harvest Beasts will be part of the core beast pool, so we don't know exactly which ones. The only one that we know for sure is not the Harvest Beast, it is the Black Morrigan. And the Scarab that guaranteed that Black Morrigan is going to show up in the map now is gone. The second thing that we don't know is in which tiers of maps these beasts will show up. And in case you don't know, the current most optimal way to farm beasts is to do it in white maps, because Craggy Chimeral can show up even in tier 1 maps. But there are some other beasts that can show up only higher tier maps, which means that if you farm Bestiary in red maps, you have lower chance of fighting Craggy Chimeral, because there is more possible beasts that can show up. And if you don't want to know more about Bestiary Mechanics, you can watch my video that I made a few weeks ago. It should still be up to date. I am going to link it in the description of this video. So the one thing that I'm going to assume is that most of the Harvest beasts are gonna show up in the higher tier maps, and there is a high chance that Black Morrigan is gonna be tier 16 exclusive. The reason why I think that is because it was fixed the issue of players farming Bestiary only in white maps and pushed players who were doing it in red maps. So because of this change, I want to league start with farming Bestiary. If you are wondering what build I'm gonna play, it's going to be Elemental Hit of Spectrum, but in this video I want to talk only about the strategy. It doesn't really matter what build you are using for it, as long as you can kill beasts in red maps. So at the league start I'm just gonna focus on the map drops, and there are still some changes I might make depending on my gear situation. For example, early on I might go for Prolific Essence just to get some essences to craft some of my gear, or for Obsessed with Vengeance to get some veiled items. So maybe I'm gonna unveil things like chaos and elemental resistances and some other things just to get some resistances going. But generally, I think I'm gonna go immediately to the middle just to get some Kirak missions, because Kirak missions give you some additional Atlas competition, and also they refresh Kirak shop, so you can just buy maps from Kirak. And then just some chance for higher tier map drops. And then at this point, I'm probably gonna just go for Unwavering Vision, because it gives you 20 additional Atlas points at the cost of 12 points. So you get basically 6 additional points, and you also get some increased map drops, not map drops, Scarab drops, and quantity of item drops on your way. And it gives you a little bit of puffing, and you're gonna want to go around here anyway later. So once you get the 20 additional points, then you can just go for all of the additional chance for maps to be tier higher, so Shaping the Mountains, Shaping the Skies, and 3 points over here. And at that point, you're kind of good. You could start at this point going for some, depending on what strategy you want to go for. So I'm gonna go for Bestiary, so I could start just going for some altars and beasts. But since we have 2 Atlas pages, I'm probably still gonna continue with some additional chance to drop maps. So all of these small points, and you can also go for Planar Tactician for scout reports and some additional Kirak missions. And the same thing here, Solidarity. And at that point, I'm still probably gonna go for Yun for, well, unveiled items, and I'm just gonna start going for essences, because at this point I'm gonna be around yellow or red maps. I'm gonna need some better gear. So essence points here, essence points over here, here. I am probably gonna go for crystal resonance, because this one is pretty bad if you are using the remnants, but I'm probably not gonna be using them early on, so it's pretty good. But if I start using them, I would remove it, and then here for the chance for additional essences. I'm pretty sure these are all of the essence nodes. So that would be my starting tree. Now let's move on to the Bestiary Tree. So of course you want to go for all of the Bestiary points. Well, most of them. You don't really need Mighty Hunter, because it just makes Einhar a bit more stronger. If you need it, can go for it, but it's not really needed. You don't want to go for a Deadly Prey, because sometimes it will break a beast free, so you don't want to go for that. And when it comes to the families, you always want to choose just one of them, so you don't want to go for all of them. And speaking of families, I decided to go for the Hunt for Farul, which is the 100% increased chance that the beasts are gonna be wild. And the main reason for that is I did prepare a small list of all of the harvest beasts and Black Morrigan and which families they are in. So I checked it in the bestiary, and here is the full list. So if you look at the suns, there is only Vivid Vulture, which is not really super expensive at the league start. It is, of course, expensive later on, but at the league start you don't really care about Vivid Vulture that much. For the caverns, Vivid Aberak, which is the one that gives you a random guardian map. Then from the deep we have Vivid Water, which is the one that rerolls the Awakened Gem. This one is actually pretty good. And we also have Primal Crash Claw, and that one gives you one free craft on the map device. This one is usually not that expensive. But as you can see from the wilds, there is a lot of them. First of all, we have Black Morrigan, and this one we 100% know that Black Morrigan is going to be in the core bestiary pool, and we don't know which ones of these from the harvest ones are going to be in the pool. There might be just one from each family. There might be, like, depending on how good they are, so maybe the weakest ones are not gonna be there. Maybe there's only gonna be 3 of them. We don't know. But what we do know is in which families they are. So Hellion is pretty good, Bristle Matron is good, Brambleback is actually kind of cheap. This is the one that increases the level of Awakened Gems. Bristle Matron is the one that gives Metacraft mods, and Hellion Alpha rerolls mod on Water Eye. And Rex Matriarch gives you one random synthesis map, which is still pretty good. And Cyst Collar is pretty much useless. It gives you 5 Kirak master missions. So looking at this list, it is clear to me that Wilds is just gonna be the best, because we know 100% that Black Morrigan is gonna be in the core bestiary pool. Some of these ones also might be there, and there is still Pharik Tiger Alpha, which is still pretty expensive. And of course, this is strategy for the red maps bestiary, so all of the beasts are going to be able to appear, even Pharik Tiger Alpha, which is tier 13 plus exclusive. And probably some of these are also gonna be red maps exclusive. And now going back to V3, of course we go for natural selection for beasts to be less common variety. We want to have 100% chance that the Einhar is gonna appear in your maps. So even though we don't go for Deadly Prey, we still want these small points. We want some points in here and here for chance for Einhar, and we want to fill this entire circle. We also get some additional chance that the beasts are gonna appear in pair. Here you get chance that some of your beasts are gonna have a modifier that will not consume beasts when you sacrifice them at altar. And this is only good pretty much if you use the beasts yourself, so you might want to do that. But if you sell them, usually people don't look at this mod that much, so it doesn't really increase your profit from bestiary that much, but it's still a good one to go for. And here we have basically more red beasts and additional yellow beast, and chance that yellow beast will become red beast, so just more beasts. So that's it when it comes to Bestiary. Of course, these are the most important points, and to be honest, you could do this strategy just with these points, but because we have way more points than that, we can go for some other things. So the second priority would be just getting additional map drops, so you don't have to buy more maps. So I'm going for chance that the maps are gonna be 1 tier higher, which technically also increases the amount of maps you're gonna drop, and shaping the skies, shaping the mountains, and I'm going there for the gateway. And I might even go for singular focus for increased chance for favorite maps. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna see how it's gonna be when it comes to map sustain. And then I'm gonna go for the red altar because it just gives you a lot of bubblegum currency, and usually the red one is better early on, and it also saves me some points because I don't have to use the gateway. So I'm going for Word of the Exarch, Wrath of the Cosmos. If maps are gonna be a bit too hard, I might remove Wrath of the Cosmos. Light of the Dawn for almost guaranteed, well, not almost guaranteed, 50% chance for the altar at the beginning of a map, and Baptized by Fire for more invitations. And the next priority is Heist. And that's mostly because when you farm Bestiary, you want to farm as many beasts per hour as possible, which means you don't really want to get distracted by other mechanics that take a lot of time, like let's say Legion or Harbinger could be good in white maps, but I wouldn't go for them in red maps. And yeah, mechanics that just take a long time. And Heist, you just click on Smuggler Cache and that's it. So it doesn't make you run through maps longer. So it is pretty good mechanic to go for. So I'm just going for increased chance that Smuggler Crash is gonna appear. More basically blueprints drops, contract drops, and that's basically it. So there is highs in this area, this area. Here you just take 1 point. These don't really help you that much. Highs in this area, and also go for Hack. This is gonna make Hack appear in your map when you open a Smuggler Cache, and you can equip him with some equipment that gives him, for example, auras, or I think there's one with movement speed, but auras are the best ones, so you can get some additional damage or movement speed if you go for haste or something like that. So Hack can be helpful. And then after that, I am also gonna go for essences. It is the lowest priority, I would say, because some of the essences are gonna be beasts. And if there is a yellow beast imprisoned by the essence, they might actually be very, very hard. So if my build is not gonna be able to handle essences and beasts as one monster, I might drop essence. But if I can kill them, it is definitely a good one to go for pretty much the same reason, because essences and beasts very often are gonna be the same monster, so it doesn't really add additional time to clear them up if you can kill them pretty fast. So amplified energy, I'm not gonna go for crystal resonance because I would want to use remnant of corruptions to upgrade essences to corrupted essences. Crystal lattice for just more essences, and prolific essence for 1 guaranteed essence. And that's pretty much it. The other things I could consider is maybe going for Obsessed with Vengeance to maybe also do a little bit of Betrayal at the same time, but Betrayal without going for Test of Loyalty is not that amazing, so maybe I would also go for that with pathing through here. I could also choose this gate and go to Intelligence Gathering because Paradoxica is gonna be probably pretty expensive, and this just gives you free safe houses from time to time. And Paradoxica drops only from the Intervention safe house, so this basically gives you some free currency, but it's also quite a lot of points, so probably would not go for it. And I could also go for some shrine points here and here. So there's a few other options I could go for. I could even block some mechanics, but I don't really need to because most of the things that I'm gonna do are just gonna 100% be there. So I don't really need to block anything. And I'm gonna go for Dance of Destruction because I'm probably gonna need some additional damage, but if maps are gonna be too hard, I might remove it. So that's basically it when it comes to the tree. When it comes to Scarabs and Map Choice, now we will be able to use 5 Scarabs and a map, but to be honest, you don't really need anything else other than Bestiary Scarabs. We actually still don't know the new limits for Scarabs, so you might not be able to use 2 Bestiary Scarabs of Herd. You might be able to only use one, but maybe we will be able to use 3 of them. We don't know. But if the limits are the same as last league, you will want to use 2 Bestiary Scarab of the Herd for basically 10 additional red beasts in maps, and also Bestiary Scarab of Duplicating to double the amount of beasts that you get. If you want to use some other Scarabs, I probably would just go for Essence Scarabs, just for, well, some additional essences. And my map choice is going to be Beach and Ashen Wounds, of course as a tier 16. And the main reason is that when you look at the new Atlas, Beach and Ashen Woods are next to each other, so it is gonna be easier to sustain them. And for the influence, I already said I'm going for the red one. And for the Kirak map mod, I am probably gonna go for Heist, because it gives you 2 additional smuggler caches, and even Atlas 3 does not guarantee 1 smuggler cache in every single map. And the blueprints, contracts, and rogue markers are very expensive at the league start, so it should be some nice additional money. So to summarize my strategy, I'm gonna start with Rain of Arrows Deadeye. Then at level 60 I actually might do a little bit of heisting just to get some additional gear. If I don't feel like doing it, I might just rush straight to maps, and then I'm gonna swap to Elemental Hit of Spectrum. And then after I reach maps, I will try to rush to red maps as fast as possible, so I can start farming valuable beasts. And to rush through the Atlas, I'm gonna do my Atlas tree that I already mentioned. I'm gonna link it in the video description. And then I'm gonna swap to my Bestiary Tree, where I'm gonna be farming Bestiary, Heist, Essences, and map drops. One last thing I want to mention is that if you know what you're doing, not only you can sell the beasts that you farm in red maps like Black Morrigan, Pharek Tiger Alpha and so on, but you can also use them yourself to do some crafts. And that is something that I'm definitely gonna try to do. So use Black Morrigan to craft some 6-link on chest and basically resell chest as a 6-links, or use some Water Eye rerolls or Awaken a Gem rerolls, but we don't know if these beasts are gonna appear in maps for sure. So I guess that's another reason why I want to do this strategy, because there's a lot of unknown, and I also want to do the league mechanic. And if I did for some other strategy that I am used to, things like heists, simulacrums, or logbooks, I wouldn't be able to gather resources for the league mechanic, so that's another reason why I want to do Bestiary. And with Bestiary, I also should be able to do a lot of maps per hour, so this way I'm gonna gather a lot of resources for the league mechanic. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.